Intro or nothing?
It's no drama. So, do you know how many hours your body needs?
Yeah, I seem to get by on the 5. Yeah, I sometimes I feel like I want more sleep, but that's just how it works for me.
Yeah, I would recommend you one podcast. There is one person who wrote a book about sleeping. I forget his name. And he was in the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said that whatever you do during the day, let's say you are a comedian, whatever you do during the day, you don't get really better. You get better when you sleep. Your body go over it faster and repeat it too many times. So even the quality of sleep can determine how good comedian you will be, your quality of sleep. And that's why I think that when you are trying to do comedy, you should focus about all aspects. Like you should be healthy physically, mentally, you should be sharp, you should watch what you eat. Or what do you think, Taylor? You should sleep better.
Yeah, the healthier, being healthy, definitely, especially doing comedy, having a healthy mind is important. I think I personally, could choose healthier habits sometimes. I could drink more water. It does play a part. Sometimes, when it comes time to do comedy, the effects of the day, if I didn't take care of myself or keep myself in mind, you can tell when it's a bad set at the end of the day. Well, sometimes that comes out for sure.
Yeah,
So it's always good, no matter, even whether it's comedy, work, school, love. It's I think it's good to try and be at your best. I like your mindset there. Take care of yourself, drink water, eat well, try and improve your mental health. That's something I'm sorry, I'm fidgeting. That's something I'm really impressed by with you is your focus and your consciousness about those things, especially in the culture you come from, where, like you said, everything's kind of fucked. You're very aware of that, and I don't know you in person yet, but it seems like you're trying to be better than that. You take care of yourself. You're trying to be good to other people. You're kind. I think beliefs are good, but I don't think it's bad to question things. You were raised with these certain beliefs given to you by your parents, and you don't agree with them, and you're choosing your own life. And I think that's important. That's one of the biggest things you can do to keep yourself healthy, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well on the right path.
Yeah. I don't know. You also have very unique personality, and I sometimes we cannot express ourselves into words, but I'm just doing my best. Like, as I said, like I would describe you as organic. Like I feel like you don't fuck around. You are like the kind of person who would be loyal, would be there if their friends needs him. Like you look someone who is really organic.
Thank you. I understand what you're saying. Organic is a good choice of words, although some people might think like hippie, like don't shower, eat granola, whatever. And I am kind of a hippie, but not like what people think. But I like the word organic. I always chose the word genuine, not like I try to be honest day to day, but genuine, I think, is the word that I most try to relate to. And, because I'm me, whether, and that is organically, the same thing, I think, because, I'm just me organically and genuinely, not because of anyone else or being like anyone else. And yeah, I don't know if I'm that unique, but I'm definitely just me.
Yeah, I don't know what does the word genuine means, but maybe if I know what does it mean, I would even use it rather of organic. And so like now you live in the US since you were born.
Mhm.
But you say your dad from Portugal, Portuguese.
No, my family came from Portugal. My dad was Portuguese, and his whole family is Portuguese. But I think 4 generations ago came to America.
Oh,
So we've been here for a while. But yeah, half of me is from Portugal.
and your mom?
She is from like the central U.S. in Indiana, Kentucky, out in that area. So I think on her side of things, I'm a little bit Irish and English and German, but I don't really know. The Portuguese lineage I found. I went on ancestry.com, you know, the ancestry family tree website.
I never heard of it.
It's have you heard of the 23andMe, the DNA test that people can do to tell where they're from?
I know the DNA, but I never heard of website.
Yeah, so the DNA, there's a bunch of different websites that do those are the places that do the DNA testing to see, you know, where you're really from, and you know, can connect you to relatives you might not even know you had. I never did the DNA test, but because there's archives and documents, and it's like a kind of like just a place to keep records, that and some stuff my family had, I was able to actually find where some of my great grandparents or great grandparents, I don't know, great grandparents came from Portugal, you know.
Sorry, what did you do? What did you do to know?
Well, I went on this website. It's ancestry.com. So like to find your ancestors, you know what I mean?
By your name or what you do?
Yeah, by my name, you search.
Wow.
You can search like you search in like your mom and dad's name, your grandparents' name, and then other people do it too. So if somebody else has a piece of paper information that you might not have and they share it, it'll pop up in the search. It'll say so and so posted this, and does that match who you're looking for? And you find, you know, you can kind of connect all the dots, and you find, you know, these are your parents and your grandparents, and then their parents, and then where they came from. You can go back as far as there's a record of, you know, as long as there's something recorded, you can usually find it. But you can also find, I guess it's different here. Like you said, there's not a lot of record keeping or certifications. But in the US, you have to have a marriage or a certificate for everything. So when somebody is born, you have your birth certificate. When you get married, you have marriage certificates. When you die, you get a death certificate. So a lot of those things are public information anyways. So that's another place to start, where I found like, you know, found my grandfather's info in the public websites for like the town or the state. And then, you know, it says the names and info of his parents, and then you can look at those records. And as far as they go back, you can find them. It's kind of cool. For me, it doesn't necessarily have any purpose. Like, I'm not related to anyone famous. You know, sometimes there's like some cool stuff you learn, but I just thought it was cool to be able to have that information, you know?
Imagine someone tell you, where did your race come from?
I know, can't go that far back, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know, that's deep. Where did humans come from?
But
They
why?
say Africa, but
What?
they say Africa, right? Was where the first humans.
So that's why they say that racist people are stupid, because it's like we all came from Africa. And when white people live, for example, in places where it's not hot, like let's say the UK, it's raining most of the year, our body doesn't have as much as vitamin D, so the skin gets white.
Yeah.
But we are all black humans.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even so, a lot of Portuguese people are very dark skinned, and the Portuguese, you know, kind of went around the world and colonized a lot of places themselves. So the Azore Islands are are a Portuguese colony, but I believe it's actually an African island, or was an African island. So Azorians are very dark. But growing up, I remember my aunts and uncles would get very dark. In the summer, they get very tan, dark, that you would think they were black. And now as they're older and less vitamin D, I guess makes sense. Like as you're older, your body just depletes things. They're all very light skinned comparatively. They don't get as dark. Yeah, I remember one time I saw a picture of my aunt with a tan and I thought she was black, like, and just changed somehow because she was that dark.
Yeah. So, like, for example, what change you did since your father? Like, what your father, was he like more choosy about countries or color, or what was something about your father that you updated in your brain and you are not like him? Ideas you changed and you upgrade that you feel it was wrong.
That's actually tough to answer. Well, the thing that I guess was an improvement with me was not being a drug addict. So there's a lot I don't know about my father because he was a drug addict. There's a lot I do know about him. He was very organic or genuine. Like he was himself, unique. He wasn't trying ever like anyone else. He was a good person, but drugs are a terrible, terrible thing. So I would like really, there's a lot of his real ideologies that he would have had as a person before he started using drugs, because, you know, they change your whole mind. So there's a lot that I actually don't know. He wasn't racist. He wasn't, you know, homophobic or biased like that, but he also was not politically correct. He would, you know, he didn't say things, and it was a different time. You didn't have to be, I guess, but I guess maybe I'd like to think I kind of, I don't know how to, I don't want to say vindictive. I don't know how to say it. I would say probably that's the biggest thing is not using drugs, but really, yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that before, but I don't think
like you feel like most of the ideas that your father taught you and told you wasn't bad, or he wasn't fed the wrong ideas that he tried
to no.
Like he was nice, he was human, he was just in the US, normal.
Exactly. And I, you know, that might not always have been the case. We all do things we shouldn't. I come from a place where we all kind of raised hell. We caused a lot of trouble. It was kind of a wild place, but I also think my father knew that he was making bad choices and made it a point when he was around to make sure he tried to teach me the things that were most important. Being polite, helping people, you know, about being a good human, because he was pretty aware. Like he knew what was going on. He knew he was a drug addict. He knew that he wasn't doing everything he could. So it was, he always, some of the things seemed really stupid at the time, but as an adult looking back, the things that I did get from him and were specific, I think were the things that he felt were most important, is becoming an adult and being a man. So I do owe him for that. I was also raised more by my grandfather, his father. So I would say I'm a lot like him as well. And he was kind of around to make sure I actually kind of got stuff right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like basically like your father and your grandfather, like they just told you to be nice, like they were cool, and that's why I feel like the US is not, because people are not.
It's not. I grew up in a really unique place, Provincetown, and I would say it's not normal. It's in that aspect, it used to be exceptional. You know, I am the kind of person, a lot of places you go in the United States, if somebody goes by and sees someone with their car broken down, they'll just keep driving or keep walking. Or somebody, if you see someone, maybe not a homeless person, but if you see someone drops their groceries on the street,
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that will stop and help them pick them up. But a lot of people aren't. So literally the stopping to help someone who's broken down. I do that. If I see somebody, I at least stop to make sure they don't need anything. If they're okay, I'll keep going. Whether it's a stranger or not. But I also grew up in, it was a really small town where everybody knew each other and most everybody was actually related somehow. So it was very close. We had a very strong community. But if you go other places, it's not like that all the time. People just mind their own business. They see something bad happening over here, they don't care, which can be good and bad. You know, it's good to mind your own business, but I think it's important to, you know, stop and see sometimes if there's anything you can do to help someone when you see that they need it.
Yeah, I feel like now people like they start like, I don't know, with this I like before, as you said, people would stop and help, but now like people are afraid to get arrested or be in the court, or like they are just minding their own business. Nobody wants trouble or get involved. But living in small society, as you said, it's good, it's cool. But what do you think about when people are more involved in each other's life and more close? That gives more chances for hate, jealousy, and all this more things that human.
Yeah, no, it does. It can create a lot of negative energy. It's also a thing, they call it, you know, small town rumors. So like I have a, you know, bit I'm working on about, you know, the security. Before we had security systems, it was just the old Portuguese ladies keeping track from their windows. And that's how you could never, you know, get away with anything because somebody saw you do it over here. And before you get home, you know, somebody calls someone and there's a lot of gossip. So
Yeah,
it's good and bad. I was raised, my grandparents were really strict. My grandmother, especially, nothing was anybody's business. It doesn't matter if it was harmless. If it didn't involve you, it was none of your damn business. That's what she would say. And she was really, really strict about it, very private. So I think it's human nature for us to be curious and want to know things, especially like, you know, about somebody else or about something. So I try not to indulge in that. If somebody wants to share something with me, then I'll listen to them. But I also automatically kind of just make it, you know, if somebody tells me something, that's their business, not mine. So my job is to just take in, if they want a response, give them a response, but it's not my business to talk about with somebody else just because they talk to me about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But not everybody's like that. It gets boring when all the same people are around. So there is a lot of everyone knows your own business before you do kind of thing is what they say, you know?
yeah. So have you ever been outside the US?
No,
And
no, I haven't.
how many places in the US you have visited?
Well, I guess there's quite a few if you literally count just like visited and stopped. I really only spent time in Indiana, Florida, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and that's pretty much it. Anywhere else would be like driving through. I stop overnight somewhere on the way. I've driven through New York. I've stayed in Rhode Island. Those are all fairly close states, except for Indiana and Florida, and driven through all of them on the East Coast, but haven't slept in all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like how.
Yeah. So like I've seen a lot of places driving around. Vegas. I went to Las Vegas. So that's as far as I've been for me.
Yeah, but you know, they say like when you travel, it makes you more open-minded. It makes you accept others. But I feel like you are already like, as you said, like your parents told you just be nice to everyone. Like some people that didn't travel or they are stuck in their place, they still have some ideas or they are married to their ideas and where they are.
Yes.
But I feel like you are open, and I feel like that's why also you are doing comedy.
I'd like to think I am open-minded. I can be very stubborn, and I'm not necessarily married to one idea or the other. In any aspect of life, but at the same time, I am very stubborn, and like some things just are the way they are. I don't know how to explain that, but it's never not about like beliefs or how people are, or like, you know, I'm not afraid of gay people. I grew up in the gay mecca, you know, and I'm not uncomfortable around people of different cultures, and I don't even think, I guess I don't think of it as open-minded because I don't I don't necessarily process it as something different. To me, something different is usually interesting. So everything is new at some point or another. If you grew up somewhere and you didn't have, say you never drank soda, and as an adult, all of a sudden you drink a soda, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but it's new. And when it comes to things like that, people a lot of the times are more open-minded. Try this new food, try this new experience. It shouldn't be any different. Like try this new, not literally try this new person, but if I see somebody who dresses differently than me, or whatever, looks differently, or does something a certain way, it may be shocking. Like it may be something that I wouldn't expect or I couldn't imagine, but I don't ever take anything in like that as like, get away from me.
Yeah.
The big difference there is, you know, if you say, I guess the best way I could put it is like in Provincetown, long before being trans was really even a thing that was acknowledged as such, most men would dress up as women, and they were just called cross dressers or drag queens. And it's a whole different thing, but you can imagine that it was not something that a lot of people accepted for a lot of years. So people did it secretly. But growing up where I did, it was just a part of life. That was just, some people, like some men like to dress up as women, and that's just the way it was. And I never understood because I never had the desire, but I never really, it was just different. And I don't know, them doing that didn't affect me. They weren't trying to get me to dress up like a woman. They weren't trying to fuck me because they were dressed like a woman. That was just what they like. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, why the fuck do I care? If I see someone who is of a certain ethnicity or religion, say you just came to the mic, to the podcast now, in to the mic, in, say traditional Muslim attire. I would, something like, say, ceremonial for Islam, I would see it and notice that it's different than the way you normally dress, but then maybe I'll ask, because I'm like, hey, what's different? Why is it different? I'm curious as to what's going on, but I wouldn't be like, what the fuck? This is weird. It wouldn't make me uncomfortable per se. And I owe that a lot to where I grew up, because it's not like that everywhere still. A lot of the times, unfortunately, especially here, it's just the law. Like, it's become recognized that you have to accept people for who they are. And which it shouldn't even have to be a law, but it is, to protect people who have alternative life choices, if you will, or a different gender identity.
Yeah, it's fascinating how humans, where they grow up, makes them different. Like people in New York, most of them would accept like men that wear women clothes since long time. Women, people in where you are now, they are a little bit open. People in Yemen still don't accept until now. So, and I feel that's why you shouldn't take people personal, because you could be them if you grow up in New York or if you grow up in Yemen.
If you, yeah, it all depends on where you, and even then, as it turns out, it doesn't matter where you grow up as to like, you could be them. Whoever you are, where you grow up, kind of determines how comfortable you feel. If you say you're in a town that was really racist, not now really, it's, I just generally speaking, a southern town with lots of white people, and you fall in love with a black woman, you're gonna keep it a secret because it's not acceptable, and it's gonna feel, it might not feel wrong, but it's forbidden because it's, that's just what you were taught your whole life. Just like a lot of the views that you were raised with, and being brought up in Yemen and where you're at now, and looking at, I heard you say it a lot. People are fucked up because they fucked them up growing up, and that's, and it really makes sense. There's no better way to say it, but that's just, I guess that's humans, and I don't know if that's evolution or what makes it different, because I think like a lot of people, for instance, here in the United States, especially when they hear Muslim or Islam, they think terrorist,
Yeah.
And like you said, and some of you joke about how life is so oppressed and strict and hard and abusive in some cases, that, these people do terrible things because why wouldn't they? That's what their mind knows. But I know I have some friends, like, friends I kind of know who are Muslim here in the States, and I would never expect them to be, you know what I mean? I would never think that. Same with you, meeting you, if it had never come up, if you had never said it, if you had never done jokes about it, I would never look at you and think, oh, he's a Muslim and he must be a terrorist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it, because that's like makes me feel good when you say it, because that's what I want to do. So hearing it from people makes me feel good, and I would like to thank you for saying that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, as you said, like I feel like the brain, if you show, and that's why, like, I feel like we are like machines. Like if you show a kid how to love, and you show another kid how only to kill, and you hit them, the brain just get used to it. Like whatever the brain sees, like I feel like when we are born, we are like, you have computer new, and then you start putting viruses or good programs in it or whatever, and then that's how it will operate. So I feel like it's just the mind thinks that it's fine to like smash someone or slap someone or hit your kids or bomb and there is too many other circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. So Taylor, how old is your daughter?
She's 9. She's actually going to be 10 next month.
Wow. And how is she with like social media? Are you like gonna tell her like, watch me in this podcast? Do you think should be in social media?
She likes to watch YouTube videos. She does have a Facebook. Her Facebook, her mother and I started when she was a baby, and it was really just a place for anybody to share memories, so she could grow up and have all these memories and pictures and things other people did, whatever, just for her life. Now she's able to like log in and check it out. She has a kids messenger account, so it's all, parental controlled, which is great because it gives her freedom. Like freedom for her and I to talk to each other on her own. So she can, without having, she does have a phone now, but that's a whole different thing. Her mother got it for her. I probably wouldn't have opted for it, but like the Facebook Messenger, if she has the internet, she can only talk to certain people. But, you know, if she's just bored, she could send me a message or call me on Messenger, as opposed to saying, hey, mom, can I call dad, and use her mom's phone. So it gives her that ability to like have her own interactions with her friends at school, with her grandmother who lives in Florida. She loves to play games, so it's, you know, it was especially, it picked up more, became more of a thing during the pandemic when everyone was locked down. It was tough to swallow. I don't know how I feel about kids on social media. I don't even know how I feel about, yeah, I do. They really shouldn't be on it, but I don't know how I feel about adults on social media either sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know about this kids messenger. I never heard of it.
It's basically just Facebook Messenger, but you set it up for a kid so that they, you know, they can use it, but you can't just add anyone. They can't add a random adult on Messenger, and someone can't find or add them. So if someone wants to be able to talk to her on Messenger, either her mother or I need to send someone an invite to connect with her.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not, and you have to, if you're friends with someone if she's friends with someone on Facebook, but even then it's still, you know, she knows at this point, don't just accept friend requests from anyone. She's good about listening so far, but it's scary. Social media is a scary thing. A lot of the times, you know, I think being connected like that all the time just isn't necessarily a good idea. It's not, you know, she's not quite at the age where she's like taking pictures and posting them and whatnot, but sometimes, but not really. She just likes to watch videos and be entertained. So I think it's like, for now, it's okay. It's pretty harmless, but when she's older and out and about, that's where it gets scary, because, you know, people post pictures and people can see, if everything's not totally private, people can see like, oh, they're over in this area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tyler, I wanted to tell you that the best way to deal with social media is to know more. What's social media? What's the phone that's in your hand? What is really this phone or Facebook? The more you know about the app, the more you know how this machine works, the more you will be able to control and do the right decisions. Because Facebook, you need to analyze Facebook like you are someone who works in the company. Because if someone works in the company and you ask him what's Facebook, he will give you a totally different answer than someone who just uses Facebook. So you need to have the knowledge. There is also other podcasts I can recommend it to you. Someone who he has, I think, degree in psychology. He been studying these companies for many years. So basically, Facebook. Are you okay, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm looking for. I had a sticky notepad to write down whatever. If you want to give me a podcast, I can stick it.
It's fine. I can just send it in the chat, or I can send it to you after. So I will write it down. I want to send you the sleeping podcast so you know more about sleeping. And even when you have more knowledge about sleeping, it might change your decisions. So, so what I want to tell you is, don't worry about it. I will write everything down. Unless you want to do it.
So, no, that's okay. Yeah, if you send it to me, that's fine.
Yeah. So it's basically Facebook and Instagram and all the social medias were able to understand us more than what we understand ourselves. They study our brain, they study the human's brain, and that's why they are leading the market. That's why anyone can make app, but why only Instagram and Facebook? Because they have more information and knowledge about how our brains works. Because even the colors that they put in the app, even the design, it's not random. It's based on study. If the color blue or red, maybe people will click more. And if it's like people will click more. Is it if it's circle or round? They will do study about it, and they are always studying us. That's why they are always in the top, because they are always updating, studying us. If someone figure out something, he will beat them to attract people more. And that's why, like, it's market. You never know what's in 10 years. You know, like iPhone and Nokia. Nobody uses Nokia anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Because iPhone, they figure out our brain and they have more information and studies, and they are always updating. So you also, if you are leading, you have to update. So I will send you this podcast, and this person, he tells you more how this engine works and how they try to take your brain, and then when you know what is it, you will be able to use it better. And I don't think it's good solution not to use social media or to say no, because humans never had social media and we have this advantage. So you can always use advantage of what you have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I'll plug in here quick. I do know that they, that's basically, the key to marketing is figuring out what people's brains are going to respond to. And they definitely have it figured out, because it's almost like an addiction. How strong our brains, it releases endorphins and dopamine. It's exciting, when you think before social media, we had whatever entertainment, we had movies or whatever there was for entertainment, but humans have always been, I guess, really creating entertainment. Whether it was drums or other, over time, music, people created movies and, plays and acting and stunt shows and sports and all these things that people created at some point or another because their brains were bored and it gave stimulation. And now it's all like artificial and created. And you can see, even it's something as simple as you being in Cyprus, looking at your pictures, I get a good view of, like, Cyprus looks beautiful. I've never seen it before in person. Never really seen many pictures of it, but that gave, it was a positive response from my brain, and it made me think, wow, I want to see that place someday. But I feel like it also can prevent people from actually wanting to go see those places, because you can see it right here on your phone screen, or your computer screen, or a big TV screen. And, if you have a TV the size of the wall, and you're looking at a scene or a beach or a movie, or a sports event, sometimes it's even better than being there, from the perspective. But that kind of, like, I don't want to say, like, it doesn't necessarily make us lazy, but it's a different satisfaction seeing something in person than seeing a picture of it.
Yeah, and coming back, like, I feel that, like, as I told you, like, you are someone who is like, will stop if his car is broke, and you will care about humans. So I'm sure, like, also when you have your daughter, it's extra, like you care about people, and she's also your daughter. So, like, I feel that some parents, they want their kids to be good, and they do spend time and energy, but they do it the wrong way. Like, I feel like it's not always about putting the time and energy, whether it's with comedy, whether it's with parents, and it's how to work smart and push yourself to above the limit, but in a smart way, plan. Like, when they say that one bullet can make effect of bomb if you use it effective. And I think the best way to do that is by not being married to your ideas and trying to understand things more. And also
being open-minded.
yeah, and just try to like, exactly, like, and feel that whatever you do, you can improve. Whatever you do, you can be wrong. But I don't know, sometimes it's just hard, like, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like you just get fucked up whatever you do. Or do you think that if someone tries and not be married to their ideas, it will always work?
I don't think anything always works, but I do think you have more of a chance being open-minded, not married to your ideas. That can be being married to your ideas. It's just it's a very straight, narrow path.
Okay.
And what you need is, your thing. I mean, just picture going through an open space, and there's something for you over here, and there's something for you, whether it's, there's something you need or something you would enjoy or you love over here, and then up further over there, but you're on this path going this way, and you can't get over there or over there because all these paths are different, and you don't even want to see what they're all about,
Yeah, and yeah, as you said, it's like nobody knows, but when you are married to your ideas, it's like you are bringing really bad luck to your path.
Yeah, you'll never learn, because that's like, we learn, you don't know anything until you do it. So when it comes to life, day by day, years go on, you learn, and things evolve. And if you're married to one way of life or belief, you're going to miss out on a lot, and sometimes it can be joy. You're going to miss out on things you might really like, but it could be more critical than that if you follow a belief that's unhealthy for your body. Or I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to look at it, and sometimes I'm not good at finding the right words, but
yeah,
it's just not. Yeah, it's not good being stubborn and stuck in a one-track mind. And I think as long as, I guess, everything works out. That's what I'm trying to say. As long as you try, like you said, but I don't think it always works out. If you just try and don't stay married to your ideas, and do the best you can to be good and a good person, that doesn't mean it's going to work out,
exactly. But you do your best.
Yeah, that's all you can do. If we all, I mean, who knows if we all just do our best, but a lot of people just aren't good natured. It's a really, like, married to their ideas, like in Yemen. I've, from meeting you online, I've looked up a little bit about Yemen, and I'm no expert. Didn't learn a lot, but it's I believe the lowest ranking country for the treatment of women. In terms of oppression of women, it's the worst, or one of the worst. And that's because, as you say, they're married to their ideas. And they're not going to change. You also can't force people to change. The only thing you can do is, like you did, go somewhere else where that fits you better. And who knows, now you're trying to get to Canada, because you think that's going to be a better place for you. So you could have stuck to where everyone's married to their ideas and you're not, and who knows maybe you end up being married to those ideas because you're just forced, eventually your mind just breaks down and you go along with it. But I think that's the best you can do, because you can't force them to change if they don't want to, because if that was the case, there wouldn't be, cultures, certain cultures and others, whether it's the way they treat women, child labor, whatever the civil issue may be, or the way people are treated poorly. If you could force people to do the right thing, then it wouldn't be a problem.
I also, so in Yemen, back to what we are talking about, if the father has a girl, it's like 10 times extra stress than if they have a son. But back to what we talked about, they do it the wrong way and they end up oppressing the girl. So for you, do you feel like it's extra stress also because you have daughter, or would you have the same stress if you had son or daughter?
It's a different context, because
sorry, it's interesting for me because in the US, women are almost have the same, like not almost have the same rights as men, and I don't know, some people have issues, but that's what I know. Like I know.
Yes, so they really.
At least, yeah. So that's why I'm asking you from a father perspective to have it.
Yeah, no, I think it's in terms of a boy versus girl, I think it's it can go either way. I would say it's generally, I say, yeah, it's scary to raise a girl in today's society, but not because because social media, because some people are dangerous and just not good people, and having access to everything, being connected to everything, it allows bad people to do bad things and hurt people, whether it could be tricking somebody into falling in love and just breaking their heart. It could be scamming them out of money, but it allows people to do it everywhere in a much broader. So there's, it's almost like a trending thing on social media is how women are so sick of being treated poorly by men. And it goes back and forth. Men have arguments. There's the whole abuse thing where if a man yells at a woman, it's considered abusive. It is actually, this is something, if you search on Google, if you type in my wife yelled at me, the search result will say something like, well, maybe try to talk to her and ask her why she got upset. But if you Google my husband yelled at me, it'll give you advertisements for resources for being abused. And it's, and I'm not saying it's not a valid thing, and that's not even the validity of it. Isn't even the point. The point is it's so widespread. Like you see these people who lives get crazy because they're connected with somebody. Like I don't know. Now I'm losing my train of thought here. It's the weed.
You lost me too. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Social media is fucking scary, is what I'm saying, for having kids, because they know it from birth. It affects people personally. So like social media has a lot more of exposure to like the things that fuck you up. Like you say in Yemen, the children, people, they fuck them up mentally. They fuck with their heads and fuck up their brains, and that fucks them up as a person. The internet does that to people more than anyone talks about, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
And Taylor, also to come back to what I said, look, Google also. You are telling me like I wanna. You talk about Yemen. I go to Google and I Googled it. I don't. If you talk with someone who works in Google or you who use it, it's two different definition. Maybe it will be two different things.
Yeah.
Google also is a search engine, and they try to program also your brain, because the result that they bring to you, they are I don't know how to okay, I will give you an example. For example, if you search about Donald Trump, the result that will come might make you feel negative about him, you know? Or for
Yes.
example, if you search about Joe Biden, the result will make you feel more positive about the person that you are. You will get information about them just the way they put it, about Yemen, so it's also crazy how, like,
It influences us, exactly. And that's what I think is scary about. I feel like it's more, women are more susceptible, females, girls, young girls are more susceptible to that influence. I don't know. I don't, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's stereotypical and rude of me to say. You know, I might be saying something ignorant here, but I think that it is, and I don't know why, but that's why I would say raising a girl is more stressful.
yeah.
But aside from that, it's just as stressful, I would imagine, to have to worry about raising a boy into a good man instead of having to worry about your daughter and the kind of people that are going to come into her life. You know, if I had a son, I would be just as stressed trying to raise them to be a good person, a good man, or whatever they end up wanting, whatever they feel they are, whoever they feel they are, to be a good person. Yeah, I don't know.
I just wanted to say that it's normal, because you see, even in nature, like the male will try to protect more the females. I'm not saying that we are animals, but also like you are worried if someone break your girl, your daughter heart, more than if some girl broke your son heart. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would.
yeah, kinda, which actually isn't fair. But I guess I'm also worried about, like, I don't want my daughter to break someone's heart either. You know, she
Oh,
needs to
so
be.
that's why. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think the circumstances of life and the way people can be and the bad things about that make it scarier and more stressful to raise a daughter. But in terms of get rid of all the outside stuff and being a good person, being responsible, being honest, having work ethic, or whatever it may be, about raising a human, I think boys and girls are equally stressful. It's just different scenarios because it's all about the human that you're trying to help them become, which is a good one, nurturing, caring, attentive. It's always good to pay attention to the other people around you and be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I got it. Tyler, I don't know, but there is Ham and Brian open mic. It's going to be soon. Also, you have to be there in order to get spot. The earlier you come, the earlier spot, because people just register and then they come when it's their name. So now,
Yeah, with the list.
yeah. So I don't know. I will maybe eat something, get ready for it. Will you come?
I am not going to make it. I'm going to try and make it tonight. I don't think I'm going to. Not the first, only open mic that's in person around my area just switched to Tuesdays. It used to be Thursdays, and so it's today at 8:00. But I gotta do an in-person mic. I'm going to try and pop in. I guess it depends on how long that runs. There's not a lot of comics, maybe 5 or 6 of us. So when we're done, I'll leave. If it starts right at 8, then we should, be done within the hour. But I don't know. We'll see. So if I can sneak in at the end, or maybe maybe get right in the beginning. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I wouldn't plan on seeing me there tonight, which sucks because Meat Slap is one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. I don't know even if you come late or anything. I feel like if you text them, they are nice. I will also pop it up. We pop it up later.
Gonna pop it up.
Yeah, I will send
All
you a
right.
link. Listen, Taylor, I just want to say, tell you that I respect you, I love you, and you were able, from how good you are, to bring the good vibes just through Zoom and to bring
Thank you.
good energy, and I admire you for that. I also love your jokes, and I told you I'm a fan of you just for who you are. Like, you are the comedian who would stop to help someone if they need anything. Like, you are organic, and I feel like people feel it. So I honestly believe in you, and it was just a pleasure to have you and talk to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Taylor,
I'll see you at the pop-up.
yeah, Taylor, you are the best. Thank you so much.
No, it's been good. I'm glad we got to do this again for sure. And I'm glad you're one of my favorite people on the internet.
Thank you.
This is like I when I started doing Zoom mics, I wouldn't have thought, like, you know, I'd be friends with a guy halfway across the world and we'd be doing comedy online together. I look forward to you coming over here, at least to Canada. I can get up there, and it's going to be great. And I remember, I don't know if you remember, actually, I totally forgot to say this, but before we go, the first time you saw me, I think my beard was pretty gnarly, and you asked me if I was from Yemen.
I even forgot about that. So I appreciate you remembering the first moment. And yeah, see you soon, Taylor, and hopefully in real life in the future. So,
all right, bud.
bye-bye. God bless.